This is a Rogue Media Network production.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the show. You know, there are some gifts that go far beyond what we can see or hold, gifts that carry meaning and gratitude and a deep sense of honor. And that's what our conversation today is all about. Quilts of Valor is a national movement with a simple but a powerful mission to cover our veterans and service members touched by war with something comforting and healing, and that would be a handmade quilt. Each stitch is a thank you, and each quilt is a tangible expression of our gratitude. Here in our own community, that mission is carried forth by a dedicated group of volunteers. Their group is called Patriotic Piecemakers, and it's P-I-E-C-E, as in piecing a quilt. These men and women give their time, talent, and hearts to create something truly meaningful for those who have served us so beautifully. So joining me today, Donna, Levesque, and Sandy Kleypas, who are part of this incredible effort. And you see all around us these beautiful quilts that you, and after we finish here today, you're going to be presenting some of these quilts, I understand.
Yes, we are. We're going to award 5 today over in Robinson.
Five quilts. Well, for those who are not familiar, what exactly is Quilts of Valor?
Quilts of Valor is a national nonprofit organization that was started in 2003 by a lady named Catherine Roberts. And basically, she had a dream, and in that dream, she saw a young soldier seated on the side of his bed, and she could tell from his demeanor that he was not enjoying his time in the military. He looked distraught. But then the dream fast forwards, and later on she sees the same young man, but at this point he'd been wrapped in a quilt. And she could tell that the quilt had provided comfort to him. So from that one dream, she started a national nonprofit with a mission of providing quilts to our veterans and service members as a means of saying thank you for their service and also providing comfort and healing to them. So it's been operating for over 22 years now.
So the local organization, Patriotic Piecemakers, how long have you all been involved, and when did this all start?
We met probably 6 years ago. Went to a quilt guild, and a lady came in and introduced us to it, and we joined, and her group dissolved, so we took over. So we've been active probably 4 or 5 years now.
Wow. So in that time, do you know how many quilts have you handed out?
I know the numbers for the last few years. In 2023, we awarded 98 quilts.
Oh, my goodness.
And we thought that was really good. But then in 2024, we awarded 186. Very impressive. If you know what it takes to make a quilt, that's an amazing number. Yeah. And then things went crazy. In 2025, we had some posts that went out and social media got involved, and we ended up awarding 352 quilts in 2025. So that's basically almost a quilt a day. And right now in 2026, we're on track to meet that number again. So we're going this afternoon to award 5, and that's going to put us right at the mark of 90 quilts this year.
So how many quilters do you have helping you?
We have, it's hard to say. There's a group that makes pieces of the quilt, and then we take those pieces and we put them into one big quilt. But then, that's just part of the quilts. Others, we can sit down and, make a quilt in a couple of days, depending on the complexity of it. So it just all depends,
We have a group that meets usually about every other month over in Hillsboro at a retreat called Red Boot Retreat. It's run by a wonderful lady named Carrie Lewis. And she's offered that facility to us for people to come and meet with us for a day and help us with making these quilts. And so those ladies are very active and contribute blocks, and they'll take kits home and bring them back as piece tops. And then Donna does about 99% of the quilting, which is
Do you really?
amazing job.
So let's kind of walk through the process of making a quilt. So the pieces, are so beautifully matched, and I mean that to me is the big trick in putting a quilt together. But then after it's pieced, then you put the batting in between, and you have to bind it and all that. But then it's quilted. So
Right.
Donna, you're the one that does the machine quilting
Yes.
of the overall pattern that you see.
Yes.
So piecing it, though, that's kind of the artistic part.
It is.
So you have quite a few people who are helping piece.
Right.
We do have quite a few ladies that regularly contribute piece tops to us. We really couldn't do it without all their help. So
Right. And these are standard sizes?
they are a uniform size,
Okay.
approximately a twin size quilt.
60,
Okay.
60 by 80 is the target size for Quilts of Valor.
Okay, because it's not too big to use as a lap
Right.
quilt, really, if you
Correct.
wanted to. But so let's talk about the patterns and the colors. Of course, I've seen you award several of these quilts myself, and it's just so wonderful because you talk about the veteran and their service, and it's like an award ceremony.
It is an award, and it does get recorded in a national database, just like other awards that veterans and service members receive with their military service. There's a tracking process where every quilt gets recorded into that database.
But some are, well, like the beautiful eagle and the centerpiece of this one next to me, the one that's in front of us. It's got more flowers in it. It's certainly got a feminine sort of flair to it. So do you take that into consideration if your veteran is a lady veteran?
We do. We usually the Vietnam veterans will get. They love the panel quilts, the eagles. Then we have the active service members. Do the red, white, and blue. We have female quilts. Sometimes we try to get a little bit of information from our awardees. So,
Like what they might be interested in?
Correct. So we know which way to go.
Yeah.
Their age and the amount of time that they served in the military helps us decide which quilt is right for them.
Yes. Have you gotten feedback? I mean, what is it you hear back, or
Well, I think everyone should come watch an awarding, because if you see it take place and you see the veterans' reaction, it's always positive, and they're always just humbled by the process and so grateful for those words of appreciation. We know, those of us that have been around long enough realize that a lot of those Vietnam veterans, when they came back from service, were not treated correctly.
No.
And here we are, these men, a lot of them in their 80s now, and I've had Vietnam veterans say, no one has ever told me thank you for your service. And that shouldn't be happening. And we're here to try to correct that. We have awarded a few World War II veterans and some Korean veterans, kind of the same response, that why has it taken so long for us to say thank you to these men and women who dedicated a lot of their life to protecting us and protecting the freedoms that we love here in the United States. So it's a wonderful process. I can't think of anything better to do with my time, quite frankly.
So what drew you to this? How did you each get involved?
It was at the Quilt Guild. Stacy came in.
So you went because you were a quilter and you were just interested in.
Right. And the presenter for that Quilt Guild, she came in to tell us about Quilts of Valor.
Okay.
So that's how we got started.
I had made a few quilts. My mother was a quilter, so I had made a few basic quilts. But 7 years ago, Donna moved in down the street.
I know y'all are neighbors.
And we met at a ladies' game night. Someone introduced us, and when they introduced us, they said, And Donna's a quilter, and I said, "What's your phone number?" And then she moved in right down the street, and it just became an outright mission of seeing how many veterans we could say thank you to. There's 16,000 veterans living in McLennan County, and we haven't even scratched the surface.
No.
So it's a wonderful mission that keeps us very active and very busy, and it's just been fantastic.
Is there a particular story that kind of stays with you for someone you've awarded a quilt to?
Which one?
Yeah.
We went to a assisted living facility. We were asked to go and award a gentleman there. Well, long story, but that snowballed into eventually awarding 25 people in that one facility. But
Wow.
the first time we went in there, we met with a man, and when we finished his awarding, he says, "You got to meet Ralph." And I'm like, "Okay, who's Ralph?" "Well, he's over here in this other building. Come with me." So we walked through and into the other building, and he said, "Ralph's a friend of mine. He plays golf, and he's 101 years old." And I'm like, "What?" You know, because who plays golf at 101, quite frankly? He's a veteran. So we go over there, and here comes Ralph through the front door in his little golf shorts and his golf hat.
Obviously,
just
Ralph played golf.
shuffling along like this. And Ray, the first man I talked to, he says, "Now he's not going to be able to hear what you're saying."
Oh.
So we walk up to Ralph, we shake his hand, and I'm basically yelling at him, talking to him about wanting to award him a quilt. Well, then Ralph got sick, and we couldn't arrange the awarding. But then Ralph got better, and he came, and we were able to award him 100. He was 102 by the time we awarded him. So World War II veteran, and he couldn't hear anything we were saying, but he really loved it. That was
He got the message.
that was a
Yeah.
really cool experience.
Yeah.
So, at that same facility, the first awarding, there was several people in the room that were watching, and one of those ladies comes up afterwards, and she says, "My husband's a veteran. Could you award him?" And I was like, "Yeah, we sure." Well, she took it upon herself to find every veteran in that entire facility and contact us and feed us the information we needed to come back and award those 25 people. And the facility started calling her Quilt Girl, which it actually gave her a purpose,
Yeah.
in her life to see all that through. So
Yeah, facilitate that.
Really, really cool. Wonderful
So
person.
your fabrics and the things that you need to put these together, how is that funded?
We get a grant here and there. Carrie Lewis at Red Boot, she's wonderful. She helps us out.
Okay.
We have a donation here and there, and then we have our own pockets.
Do you really?
We're responsible for raising our own funds to support this, and fabric is getting more and more expensive every day. We don't get funds from the national organization. We're responsible for our own fundraising, so we rely heavily on donations, and we apply for all the grants that we can. But these quilts are expensive to make.
I'm sure they are. They're
it's-
valuable once they're
it's-
made, that's
it's-
for sure.
It's $200 to $300 per quilt to make these, so you can do the math to figure out what that takes. And
Yep.
we're constantly scrambling for fabric donations and financial support, and we have a big event coming up in June at the Bruin Bravo,
Okay, good.
and we're going to be the primary focus for that event as far as fundraising goes. So we're looking to promote that and get people out. We have some raffle items that we're really excited about, and just spreading the word about Quilts of Valor and getting nominations filled out, and so we're pretty excited about that event.
But you told me you do have a Facebook page.
We do.
So could someone go through that maybe to give a donation?
Correct. There's a
A barcode.
featured post on that Facebook page that explains the process and has a link where you can go and use the QR code to make
Okay,
it.
and tell me again, the name of it is?
It's TX Patriotic Piecemakers, Piecemakers. A word of caution, though, if you just make a general donation to Quilts of Valor Foundation, that doesn't
It won't
necessarily
help you
come
out.
to our group.
I
It's going to
gotcha.
go to a national organization for them to use as they please. You would have to make that donation specifically for our group, which is group 50429.
Okay.
Because there's groups like this operating all over the United States.
That's great.
Small groups
Yeah.
that do this exact same thing in different areas, and each one of those is also needing the same money. So
Right. The QR code on our Facebook page will direct you to the right link.
yes,
Okay, very good, very good. So you can always use volunteers, right?
Absolutely.
So how can someone get in touch with you to help out?
they can contact us through the Facebook page. They're welcome to
Join
call
our-
us,
or
send
join
us
our
an
Sow Day.
email. We'd be glad to provide contact information.
Yeah.
Come to one of our Sow Days. There's a number of different ways. We need people to help put these tops together. We supply the fabric. We're not asking people to
To buy it.
buy the fabric. We supply the fabric because we pick out fabrics that are the correct fabrics. They need to be patriotic. They need to be a certain size. So
Thank you both so much.
Thanks for having us.
Stay with us. There is more of the show ahead. And I'll tell you, today's show is brought to you by Allen Samuels Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Waco, your friend in the car business. Stay with us. There's more of the show ahead.
Like Allen Samuels always said, Waco has a lot to offer, and so do we at Allen Samuels Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat. Come by, let's be friends.
Earning an online certification is a quick and convenient way to gain industry-recognized credentials. Select your ACLS course. Print your ACLS certificate. You can print your certification wallet card. aclsnow.com.
Our patented handles were launched in 2018. We continue to push the boundaries of strength training. Join us in making your training more natural and effective. Visit Engels90.com to learn more and revolutionize your workout.
Cleanse your body of accumulated toxins and embark on your wellness journey at your own pace. At Global Healing, we provide premium supplements to help your body heal naturally. Start your healing journey today at globalhealing.com and organichemp.com.
Designed to elevate the off-road experience, enabling adventurers to conquer any terrain. For 50 years, you've trusted us on your toughest recoveries, to your most breathtaking destinations, and in countless unforgettable memories.
At 4U Health, we believe wellness and lab testing should be accessible, inclusive, and yes, fun. With our tech-powered at-home lab test, you save time and money while feeling your best. 4U Health. Visit 4uhealth.com today.
For anyone that's in the car buying mode or looking for a car right now or a truck, I would definitely come by Allen Samuels, get to know the people here like I have, how well I'm taking care of the dealership and how well, service and any kind of warranty issues and those sort of things. Because of the way they take care of me, it's made me a Ram driver. And so I don't think they'd want to go anywhere else if they came here.
Like Allen Samuels always said, Waco has a lot to offer, and so do we at Allen Samuels Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat. Come by, let's be friends.
Finance is evolving. Automation, data analytics, and AI are reshaping what finance teams do every single day. The best way to predict the future of finance is to be ready for it. If you want a head start, check out 365 Financial Analyst.
Earning an online certification is a quick and convenient way to gain industry-recognized credentials. Select your ACLS course. Print your ACLS certificate. You can print your certification wallet card. aclsnow.com.
Our patented handles were launched in 2018. We continue to push the boundaries of strength training. Join us in making your training more natural and effective. Visit Engels90.com to learn more and revolutionize your workout.
Cleanse your body of accumulated toxins and embark on your wellness journey at your own pace. At Global Healing, we provide premium supplements to help your body heal naturally. Start your healing journey today at globalhealing.com and organichemp.com.
Enjoy a quiet atmosphere with beautiful river views at the Brazos Landing, located in Waco along the Brazos River across from McLean Stadium. Enjoy homemade dishes like shrimp and grits, chicken piccata, braised short ribs, prime New York steaks, and more. Plus, enjoy a delicious dessert like creme brulee or key lime pie. Open for lunch and dinner Tuesday through Sunday. Brazos Landing in Waco, the only place where I-35 and the Brazos River meet.
And welcome back to the show. We just got through talking about Quilts of Valor, the Patriotic Peacemakers, with Donna Levesque and Sandy Kleypas. And we're going to continue our conversation with a couple of Marine veterans. And it's wonderful to see my good friend David Haight, who Doc, we call him, and he's here, and Mitch Kronwinkler, who is here today. And what we're talking about is not as much fun as wrapping a quilt around someone, but it's got the same kind of impact in that there are a lot of veterans who struggle. And so we're going to talk more in depth about that, and particularly suicide prevention. So welcome to the show. Thank you for coming
Thank you
today.
for having us.
Thank you. As always.
Well, I'm going to start with you, Doc. What has been your burden or passion for veterans? I know for many years you have been now involved with Veterans One Stop and a group there.
My passion is to help veterans navigate the system because, like, for example, for suicide, there's women are twice as likely, female veterans are twice as likely to not only commit suicide, but to use a gun to do it.
Really?
So when I was stationed in Hawaii, I got my first bachelor's in psychology from Chaminade, and it seemed, like when I was working in the clinical setting as a Navy corpsman attached to the Marines, they put me in mental health. And I was the only medic there at K-Bay. The psychiatrist would come over from Pearl Harbor once a week on a Friday. So I would have to do like the MMPIs and the sentence completion test. And then I had to review them, and then I would call the doc and say, I think we need to ambulance this, Marine or sailor over to see you because
Yeah, they need it.
At risk. But it really disheartens me to see veterans struggling because I know, the VA system is not always the easiest thing to navigate, and you don't always have the best. Mitch and I were talking about it earlier. You don't always have the best primary. And Mitch can tell you more about that.
Well, so Mitch, tell me about, first of all, what is the magnitude of the problem? I mean, we hear about how often veterans are trying to take their lives or succeed in doing that.
Yeah, so, there's a statistic that says 22 veterans a day. And there's a lot of studies that say that might be an outdated number, and it's probably significantly higher than that. And you can kind of tell whenever you're first getting out. My cousin just got out a year ago from the Marine Corps, and watching him go through it reminds me a lot of whenever we had to get out, because like our whole motto is never leave a Marine behind. That's that's why every event that we do, you see so many Marines show up, and I think there's a longing there that we still want that brotherhood, and especially in the Marine Corps, whenever you're getting out, there's a brotherhood that's just there. It's the world's largest fraternity.
You're never a former Marine.
Yeah.
No.
And we hold that with a very high honor. It's, we're very prideful of it.
Right.
And we don't run away from it. We love that fact. And the brotherhood typically is, it's pretty healthy. It's the ones who, I think when you first get out, you're so used to having the camaraderie and the fellowship around you. You're having all these like-minded people, or essentially like-minded people. And then next thing you know, those people aren't there anymore. Yeah. And the structure and the discipline that you had, you thought that you would maintain. And then a couple months after you're out, you don't have it, and you start to kind of free fall. And I think people who haven't set up an exit plan out of the Marine Corps properly, which is very hard for a 22-year-old person to do. Yeah. Male or female, it's very hard, because you think but then you realize very quickly that you don't. And we're just kind of guessing at it sometimes. So you eventually find your groove, and all the processes that you learned in the Marine Corps kind of come back, and you're able to put those down the way you wanted to. And, a lot of us kind of get back into that. But we have a huge problem of acclimating to the civilian life, because we kind of don't care what a lot of people say or think, whenever you're in. So you just say whatever you want, and it's not like that in the corporate world or most areas of life. And you're just traversing life kind of without a guide. So that's what most of our events are set up to do, is to bring that camaraderie back, or to at least know that you're not alone. So like, what's this Friday, the 3rd? We do 2 cigar nights a month. And the first Friday is usually like Black Rifle. And you don't have to smoke or drink if you don't want to, but we go out there. And then the second Friday we go to Putters. You don't have to smoke or drink if you don't want to either, but it's just to know that we've been doing this consistently for years at this point, probably 7-8 years. It's been a very long time. And either myself or Jacob Romero will be out there. There's never been a time where one of us wasn't at one of these events. And it's just so that the community knows that we're going to be there for you. You might think you have it all together, and then one day the wife, kids, husband just getting to you too much. Luckily at Putters, it's family friendly out there. So they have the arcade, they have the putt-putt golf. So
bring everybody, right?
Yeah, you can bring everybody up there.
Yeah.
Kids are okay until I think 8 o'clock. So, we try to do this so that all the families can come out. That's one reason why we started the second one. And then we have an annual suicide awareness hike that we do. And, we've been doing that for 11 years now. 11. This is the 11th one.
And when is that?
That was it was March.
Okay.
It's usually
Okay.
the first weekend in March.
So
Okay.
if May 4th falls on the Saturday, then we'll do it on May 4th.
Okay.
So it's May the 4th be with you.
May the 4th be with you.
Yeah, that whole theme. And then if we're going to do, otherwise it's the first weekend of March. We're thinking about doing some more throughout the year. So we want to, myself and Jacob have been rolling around this idea of having one to where it's also LEO and first responders can come in with the veterans, because we're all so like-minded. I mean, we all kind of think the same, and almost
a lot of them are veterans too.
Yeah,
Yes.
a lot of them are.
Yeah.
A lot of them.
So we would want to do something like that, and then potentially having one to where it's like maybe a small 5K walk, but the families are able to come out, and then we're able to do a gala at the end. but that way the families can kind of experience everybody as well.
So is this a particular organization? Are you just doing this through Veterans One Stop or?
So we do this through the Marine Corps League.
Okay, the Marine Corps League
Yes,
is
ma'am.
what we're
So
talking.
we're kind of I wouldn't say an offshoot. We're just like a committee now of the Marine
Yes.
Corps of Detachment 975 Marine Corps League here in Waco. So we just a little offshoot, but we
And all branches can partake.
Yeah, it's
yeah, right.
So it's open. So for our veteran hike, it's only veterans can hike, but we love having anyone else that wants to come and volunteer to help pass out waters or help with the food or the organization. We love having that. But we do it specifically so the veterans can just kind of have that talk as they're walking, because in the military you do a lot of humps or walks or ruck marches, whatever you want to call them. They're just hikes,
Yeah.
In the military, you just have like 100 more pounds on you.
You're just carrying a bunch of stuff.
Yeah. But this way, we can just do it kind of for fun. We usually stop at a bunch of bars. That's usually like our main MO. And we stay there for anywhere from 40 minutes to an hour, and then we're off to the next one. And then we have an after party afterwards, and it's just a good old time.
Yeah.
We always make sure everyone gets home safe. Like I said, we've been doing this for 11 years, and we haven't had any problems yet.
Yeah.
So I love it. Otherwise, me personally, I've got permanent nerve damage now, so I can't walk anymore, but I'm always going to help.
Yeah. So what are some of the unique challenges? You mentioned transitioning back to civilian life. What are maybe the top 2 or 3 you can think of?
Civilian interaction, I'd say, is probably the
Is
hardest.
the interaction?
We're very quick on, if there's a problem, fixing it immediately. So you're going to say whatever the problem is, and you might follow that up with like maybe not the nicest dialect afterwards.
Right.
And it can be considered offensive.
Yeah.
So coming to the corporate world, you want to fix that problem because you want it to run well, and you can't do that in the corporate world. It just doesn't work like that.
What I love about the Marine Corps mindset is they focus on 3 tasks at a time, no more than 3. The rules of 3, is that right, Mitch?
I don't know. It just depends on what mission dictates, I think.
So,
But if you can narrow it down to 3, that's always really good.
Well, without sharing anything you're not comfortable with sharing, talk about what you've seen or experienced that highlights the need for more awareness.
All the suicides. It's the first time you go through it, and it's just, you kind of don't know what to do, but then it just starts happening so much. And there's another organization that we were with that did something very similar to the hikes, and we met a lot of people, and as time went on, you would just see them slowly disappear. And it's a lot of good people. They just silenced themselves. They didn't want to talk about anything anymore, and they just really, some of them, they were posting online. They were happy in every other regard. You wouldn't even notice it, and then the next day they're just gone.
what I find very interesting is, so I lost 5 veteran friends to suicide within 3 years, and then I lost 5 family members within 3 years. And as a male, it's hard to be transparent. So I went to Veteran One Stop, and I had tried group therapy. Group therapy's okay, but I never really enjoyed the one-on-one. But it makes a difference if you have the right care provider, the right licensed practical counselor, professional counselor. So I went into grief counseling for 2 years, and that opened up so many doors for me. It's like
That's where we
coming to
originally met.
Jesus. You have a relationship with Jesus, and you pray, and he shares more with you about what's going on. And I know with suicide awareness, 43% of veterans have a code in their medical records stating that they have a struggle with a mental disorder. And that, along with, our high percentage of veterans that are homeless and, they're self-medicating. That's why there's some veterans, Ann, that are 100% disabled, so they're receiving about $4,000 a month, but they're homeless because the addiction.
Right, they're spending it all on whatever.
So,
well, a lot of them also, there's something off mentally there. And you can, this will sound very controversial, but I've spoken to a lot of them. I try to have those conversations, but they're just not there mentally anymore. The soundness behind them is kind of gone. And it's almost like they feel tethered if they go to a home. They genuinely like being nomadic. Mm-hmm. And so, we can try to say we want to fix the homelessness problem, but a lot of them...
They're choosing that.
Yeah,
yes, they are.
Now, there are...
That's what they're comfortable with.
We have met some that definitely want to not be homeless. They're typically younger, and I know 2 or 3 guys that we've helped get into houses. Mm-hmm. So, for those that we love helping them, really the only thing you can do for the other portion is try to give them a meal,
feed them.
That's what the Vet One Stop's really good at.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's why I'm very grateful for Freedom Path, the VA, they have 2 or 3 buildings over there that are small apartments for veterans in transition from homelessness back into the mainstream. And I have one friend that I help out and I take stuff to, beverages and food and stuff. And he says he has to pay $500 a month for rent. So they have to take ownership.
Right.
But the VA is helping them navigate that.
Mm-hmm.
So
kind of easy. Why do you think so many struggle in silence?
Well, I know I was raised in a very strict Roman Catholic Irish Polish family, and guys weren't taught to be transparent. They were taught to throw it in a box, throw it under your bed, and just forget about it.
Yeah.
So when I experienced some things in my life, like being molested from age 3 to 17, I guess the Catholic guilt, okay, did I do something? What did I do wrong? Blah, blah, blah. But Mitch and I were talking earlier, and I said, we have some things in common. Mitch has, experienced things like that too. So, it's taken me many years to be able to open up and tell you how I really feel.
Yeah.
But I thank God for that. It's wonderfully made, under construction, servant of God.
Well, I can only speak on the Marine Corps behalf of things, but I would say that almost immediately in boot camp, you're taught to be a leader. And so you might not be in a leadership role, but they're at least prepping you to have some kind of leadership position. And as you progress through the Marine Corps, you get those leadership roles. And I think that because of those principles, we look at it as we don't want to burden our peers or our subordinates. And sometimes we can consider our family subordinates because we don't have anybody else to lead anymore. And so they don't want to bother them or the people around them. And you suffer in silence because you don't want you don't want anything additional on their plates. So they think that it's selfless, but I've tried it many times. Thank God I'm still alive today. Nothing, ever finish. I always joke around that, if I'm going to be bad at one thing, I'm glad I was bad at those. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here to have these conversations and to spread, all these great activities that we're doing. But there's like a dark veil that just goes over you, and you can't see anything anymore. Everything's so clouded, and it's just tunnel vision. And you say, well, if I get to the end of this tunnel, then that's the end of it, and I don't have to burden anybody else. But especially after COVID, I think we stopped counting at 20. There were so many people all across the nation that we were friends with that just kept doing it. And
How did you deal with that?
Well, it calluses you over there for a little while, but you know, you would think that it's the end of it, but now we all have to deal with it. Now we have to deal with the loss of a good friend.
Yeah.
And that just weighs on you. And so eventually you learn to just kind of put your head down and keep moving on. But, you know, you'll start telling your war stories again, especially like cigar nights. That's what most of it is, just a bunch of old retelling of stories. Because like what we do in the Marine Corps a lot, or in the military in general, that we have a smoke pit and everyone goes out there. And they, you know, it's just a way to decompress. So it's kind of how we set everything up.
Yeah.
And, you know, the stories will come back up, and we try to always remember the good times, but, you know, every once in a while the bad times creep in, and, you know, it's just.
But sometimes talking about it sort of helps.
Yeah, it calluses it over. And, you know, it's kind of what you have to do. You have to. You don't want it. You don't want it to happen at all. You know, it's very tragic when it happens. We've lost quite a few people that we've known over just the past 5 or 6 years, but that's what we're trying to prevent it from happening. But yeah, it's very. I mean, it's so hard to come to terms with it sometimes, because you know, what could I have done?
Yeah. What can you say to a veteran who feels like he or she has to handle it on their own?
Come hang out with us.
Yeah.
Don't be alone.
Don't be alone.
Exactly.
Sometimes just talking that out, just being able to get whatever's off your chest out, helps so much more.
I think one thing that helped me face the fact that I have depression from my traumatic brain injury is we had a young man at our health club that graduated high school when he was 17, and I saw him Labor Day of that year, and he was 19 going into his junior year, and he had depression, and he never talked about it. So he went out. He was majoring in forestry. He went out and he shot himself. And I remember going up to his dad like 2 months later, and I said, you know, I never talked about this. When your son, you know, committed suicide, it was a wake-up call for me to say, hey, I'm depressed. Because before that, I never talked about it. And it's just, that was a hard one because he was so young.
Yeah, and if someone tells you they're depressed, believe them.
Yes.
That's, you know, it's not like, oh, I'm just so depressed about it.
Right.
But you should believe that. What are some of the warning signs family members can look for?
When they withdraw, you know, I always ask people how they're doing, and if they say they're depressed, I take the time to sit down and listen, because I mean that's what we're supposed to do. We're, you know, with a relationship with God, we're supposed to help people. We're supposed to help people. We're supposed to see one another through, not see through one another.
Yeah.
So, but how about you, Mitch, when someone tells you that?
First, I like to drill down to whether you're sad or not, because a lot of people think that something at work or maybe your relationships.
Just have a bad day. Or,
Yeah.
And
Life.
and sadness can happen for multiple days. There's a distinction between that and depression, and we try to talk it out to see if maybe that's just the case. But typically, we'll start talking to get them over through that first initial point, and then we start suggesting counselors to at least be able to talk that out. But you know, a lot of us believe in trying to do things that will get you back out and moving again. So either activities or, you know, like outdoor activities or going to the range. That's a big one. You know, we call it trigger therapy, but it's I mean, something about the smell of the CLP and the gunpowder and just the weapons themselves brings you back to a better time. And
Yeah, the familiarity of that
Yeah.
and the process that you go
which
through.
is very similar to why we do our hikes, because it brings you back to a time whenever you were in.
Yeah.
Same thing for our cigar nights. It brings you
Yeah.
back to a time when you were in. Those were simpler times. A lot of people say that was the glory days, and you don't really know when you're living in the glory days till it's too late. So we're able to kind of bring that back a little bit.
Yeah. So what gives you hope when you think about the future for veterans and mental health care?
That we can reach more people, that we can be more proactive, that, there's more things that can be done. I know, like, in group therapy, you can do music therapy, art therapy. Mitch probably can help me with this. I believe there's a horse ranch in McGregor where veterans can go.
There's one here in Waco.
One in Waco.
Unbridled.
And they learn how
Yeah.
to groom and
Yeah.
bond with the horses.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, Rock On Center in Georgetown is
Yes.
another. They have a wonderful veterans program.
There's quite a few programs out there.
Yeah, the female veterans that had learned. I mean, it was incredible. The chance I got to visit with them at Right On Center for Kids in Georgetown. Yeah. This is it's such a heavy subject, but it's one if we don't talk about that doesn't help.
we need to.
Well, just to go off that question you asked, as much as I think that social media is not the greatest thing, social media also has a lot of good benefits.
Yeah.
And
The connectivity.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
is one of them. And there's so many veteran podcasts out there right now that talk about these things and people telling their stories. It's almost, you have a testimony towards all of it, and you're watching these people still survive.
Very cathartic.
Yeah, they're living. They're having experiences that you've probably also had something that was close to. And I think not feeling alone in all of your situations can kind of help get you out of that hole. But in reality, I think a lot of people just feel like they lost something in them. And that's why all these therapy things work, is because you're starting to find yourself again in one of these whatever things you're doing. So when people go back to the range, they were proficient in shooting, so they know that they're going to be good at this. Or if they're going to do art therapy and they find
Yes.
something really good in art, they're like, okay, I'm good at this. And I think that's what it all boils down to, is that you're finding something that you enjoy that makes you feel complete again, because that's what the military did, and it's not there anymore. So I never want the veterans to have that mentality of, I peaked in the military. You have all these
Right.
old guys that peaked in high school.
Yes.
But there's a community of vet bros that that's what we all call them, and they're kind of the ones who peaked in the military, and they don't really. It's hard for them to move on, but you see it from high school quarterbacks. You see it all the time in so many different instances,
Right.
and we don't want that to be the case anymore. I mean, there's so many other things you can still be good at, and there's so many different resources. You just have to know about them, and sometimes people don't find those resources because they're not networking. And whenever they come across us, where even if we don't ever see them again, at least we gave them something to help them. And
Exactly.
if that keeps you from killing yourself, please take it. I would love to rather never see you again and know that you're alive,
Yes.
than to know that
Yes.
I could have done something, and I had the resource there. I just never told you about it.
So
And what's amazing is God works in wondrous ways. For me, my girlfriend and I having an abortion in the 80s was the hardest thing for me. And then 3 months later, I was raped by my Bible study teacher. And being Catholic, I went to confession, and the priest told me I deserved to be raped because I killed the baby. Now, this is how wonderful God is. I was at Veteran One Stop. I was standing next to someone. We were both serving the lunch. And when I meet another veteran, I ask them, are you rated yet? And do you need help with that and stuff? And she says, I'm rated for PTSD and I said, I'm rated for that and military sexual trauma. And she said that in like 74, she was raped. And back then, her chain of command told her that she had two choices. She could abort the baby, or she could get a bad conduct discharge. And she said that she chose to abort the baby, which she has, a hard time with, like I still do.
Sure.
But she said the thing that hurt the most was the nurse brought her the fetus and said it would have been a boy.
No.
And we looked at each other and we said, boy, God does work in wondrous ways, because I never felt comfortable talking about that before.
Right.
And it's like God put her right there.
Yeah.
And, it's like we cannot love and forgive other people until we love and forgive ourselves. And that's something I struggle with every day, because if we don't, we're blocking the forgiveness and the love towards other people.
Right.
But thanks for letting me share that real quick.
So the best place for someone to reach out for help, I know Veterans One Stop has got all kinds of resources available.
Yes.
For veterans. Any other suggestions how to get in touch?
I mean, first I would suggest the VA.
The VA?
I tried the VA as well. I didn't like the people they provided. So I did go to the Vet One Stop. That's where we met.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And I had, they saved my life, literally. I mean,
Yeah.
I had overdosed on quite a 90-day supply of pills.
Wow.
Just my testimony. I had an angel come to me whenever I'm pretty sure I felt like I was dying. And she just told me that, you got to stop doing this. It's going to be okay.
Yeah.
And
God's got
there
more work.
was a whole lot more to it, but essentially that's what happened. And then, like I was going to Baylor at the time. And so a gentleman over there took me over to the Vet One Stop, and that's how I found them. And then I found some of the best friends I still have today from it. It was a great group. But for a long time, I didn't really believe in therapy because the VA wasn't really the greatest to me. So the Vet One Stop is pretty good. But like the hikes that we do, the events that we do, Reverend Warriors is another organization. They do a lot of hikes. They're the big name. They do hike. I think they do it in I think there's one in Normandy, France coming up pretty soon.
Oh, wow.
But going to those areas, going to these events, there's so many other people that know so many other resources in that area.
Right.
Like we went to a San Antonio hike once, and I met one guy. This guy just happened to be in a bunch of organizations that helped, and before I knew it, I sent like 30 people over to him, and they were all getting their numbers. They were networking, interchanging, different numbers, and they were like, "Oh, this is going to be a great thing for me." Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it was or not, but I would like to think it was. But sometimes that it works out perfect. That's great. Sometimes it doesn't. So now you have to keep moving. You can't just stay stagnant. You got to find the thing that's going to help you. If it doesn't help you, keep working on it, because otherwise that darkness is going to take over you, and it's going to win, and you don't want that.
That's what I love about the Brew and Bravo that we do quarterly.
Yeah, and anybody's invited. Veterans.
Yes.
June 3rd.
Yeah,
June
3rd will
3rd.
be the next one, and where will it be?
The Lee Lockwood Museum.
It's a beautiful location for that.
And we're trying to get Ann to MC in September, December.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to doing that, yeah. Well, thank you both so much for your transparency and being willing to talk about this very important subject, as we want to help everyone to find that hope there is in life, for sure. Thank you. Stay with us. There's more of the show ahead.
Designed to elevate the off-road experience, enabling adventurers to conquer any terrain. For 50 years, you've trusted us on your toughest recoveries, to your most breathtaking destinations, and in countless unforgettable memories.
Finance is evolving. Automation, data analytics, and AI are reshaping what finance teams do every single day. The best way to predict the future of finance is to be ready for it. If you want a head start, check out 365 Financial Analyst.
At 4U Health, we believe wellness and lab testing should be accessible, inclusive, and yes, fun. With our tech-powered at-home lab test, you save time and money while feeling your best. 4U Health. Visit 4uhealth.com today.
Enjoy a quiet atmosphere with beautiful river views at the Brazos Landing, located in Waco along the Brazos River across from McLean Stadium. Enjoy homemade dishes like shrimp and grits, chicken piccata, braised short ribs, prime New York steaks, and more. Plus, enjoy a delicious dessert like creme brulee or key lime pie. Open for lunch and dinner Tuesday through Sunday. Brazos Landing in Waco, the only place where I-35 and the Brazos River meet.
If I had somebody that was looking for a car, I would definitely recommend Allen Samuels. The trust that I have, the care that they take, they genuinely want to take care of you. They really ask for your feedback when you go to the support department to make sure they're taking care of you in every way possible. So I really appreciate that they listen to your feedback.
Like Allen Samuels always said, Waco has a lot to offer, and so do we at Allen Samuels Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat. Come by, let's be friends.
Apollo Neuro is a new kind of wearable that helps your body recover from stress, that helps you calm down and feel better. You sleep better, and you can get back to being yourself. Learn more at apolloneuro.com.
I had a panic moment running my hands through my hair, and that's when I found Keeps. Keeps gave me the results that I was really looking for.
I definitely felt a lot more confident once I saw my hair coming back.
Keeps has given me the control of my hair back.
Get your first month free at Keeps.com.
It's not just a glove, it's a 44 Pro. Crafted with dedication, made for performance, and built to last. Get your custom glove today at 44pro.com and experience the 44 Pro difference. That's 44pro.com, 44 Pro.
This is a Rogue Media Network production.